Next up is Samantha Persons. Samantha Persons is a giant supporter of government-funded NASA. She's a giant supporter, she's not a giant. An avid reader, and an admirer of Peter Pan. Please welcome Samantha Persons.
So what is the future? When I was younger, my sister and I would spend our summers with my Aunt Renee. By that time, she was retired from NASA and had a job working part-time at Kennedy Space Center. I grew up watching the space shuttle launches and reading about the shuttle missions. On the summer of my 11th birthday, my sister and I would ride with her to work 3 times a week. While she worked, we had free range. We had access to everything, special events, IMAX presentations. While I learned about the Hubble telescope, probing the history of the cosmos, I also watched about the near-Earth asteroid rendezvous films. So much I had memorized the 1997 launch schedule. Near was the first time that I was fascinated with the future. As I got older, science fiction projected my understanding of the future even farther, filling in the gaps where NASA programs couldn't reach or predict. The more I watched, the more I started to notice the similarities in these projections. I noticed there weren't stories where I could relate to. Where were the queer bodies? Sometimes when we write about the future, we forget about the diversity in the present. Writing about the future is less about what happens but more of where our society is now. A man traveling to a space station, orbiting a Jupiter-like planet to confront a possible security risk, turning time travel and space travel into a mundane trip. But what is it really? It's really about a guy depressed, about his wife's suicide, having to confront an alternate version of her, and then unwilling to accept a non-normative relationship, something strange, something exciting, possibly a new second chance. Evolution, adventure, time paradoxes, a crew of 3 abruptly crashing into a planet. Spoiler, it's actually a future Earth. Of course, Charlton Heston falls in love with a submissive mute woman, not the strong, independent, humanoid primate that's been flirting with him throughout the whole film. A future where a man is unable to welcome or accept differing cultural practices. Who's the real savage? Charlton Heston, man, or the primates? A future where everything is judged by your genes, which you were born in or your parents selected for you. One man, born by choice, not genetic manipulation, grows up a second-class citizen, burdened by his genetic inferiority. But wait, he can be more by adopting the life of another who is outcasted due to his physical disability in a genetically perfect world, a monocultural world. One skin tone, one sexual orientation, one goal, one genetically pure future. Gattaca. Sarah Connors, finally, a role model. She's tough, strong, independent. Well, not until Terminator 2. In Terminator 1, she's actually just a conservative gender role. A woman that is passive, submissive. Can you believe she actually is impregnated by the future? It's a future filled with Arnold-shaped robots killing humans. Is that the most interesting part of the storyline? Sarah Connor's getting knocked up by a man in the future? The only thing I learned from the Terminator is he can't escape the future. No matter what, it's still gonna hit you. A dystopic future where no one is able to have babies. One man, his love life in shambles, must take a pregnant woman to the promised land. I know it's really about hope, but doctors have been making babies with test tubes for decades. Stem cell research is breaking new grounds. You mean to tell me That society falls apart due to non-procreative relationships? Come on. And these breeders are whisked away to a private island just to repopulate the earth? I think that's more tragic than hopeful. We've met Charlton Heston before. In this future, he is the Omega Man. A chemical and biological war has decimated the planet. One man, yet again, unable to accept change and difference, fights to keep his privilege instead of trying to create a common ground between himself and the family. A group of light-sensitive, zombie-esque peoples. Heston turns to guns, action, and a little bit of female love interest. I'm more interested in the family than Heston trying to repopulate the world one lady at a time. Finally, a more complex future, Ripley. She starts out discovering aliens, killing aliens, saving a little girl that later dies, becomes impregnated by an alien parasite, travels to an all-male prison planet, and we know what happens in prison. Gay sex. Kills herself, and then is resurrected, sort of like Jesus. Less biblical, I know, more scientific. Comes to love the aliens she started off hating. It's epic, not the sappy romance, just Ripley, adapting and surviving. And upcoming is the last one, I swear. Corbin Dallas and Lilu, I know, they fall in love, something, the world gets saved, but the real star, Ruby Red. Are you serious? The best actor and performer in the show. Ruby Red, the queerest drag diva ever. Why is Ruby Red billeted as comic relief and not the star? You know he has something going on the low with Corbin. I think we should all strive to look for a future more like Ripley and Ruby Red, strong, opinionated, and a good sense of humor to enjoy the ride in which the unwritten future might bring. Thank you.